a Wikividi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. George Ezra. George Ezra Barnett is an English singer, songwriter, and musician. After releasing 2 EPs, Did You Hear the Rain? In October 2013, and Cassia in March 2014, Ezra rose to prominence with the release of his hit single, Budapest, which reached #1 in several countries. His debut studio album Wanted on Voyage was released in June 2014, reaching #1 in the UK and the top 10 in 7 other countries. It was also the 3rd best-selling album of 2014 in the UK. Early life. George Ezra Barnett was born on the 7th of June 1993 in Hertford, Hertfordshire, the son of teachers. He attended primary school in Benjo, and then Simon Ballet School. He moved to Bristol in 2011 to study at the British and Irish Modern Music Institute. His brother, Ethan Barnett, is also a singer-songwriter and goes by the name 10 Tons. Musical style. Ezra cites Bob Dylan and Woody Guthrie as his main musical influences. When the Gramophone Rings called him a voice beyond his years, with a soulful, wizened tone that somehow would feel more at home coming from an Alabama shrimp boat captain than a 21-year-old Bristolian. Zane Lowe, a former BBC Radio 1 DJ, called him one of the most compelling and powerful new vocalists around. A youthful obsession with Dylan prompted Ezra to seek out earlier American folk and blues artists. Out of curiosity, I went to find out who he had been listening to, he says. That's when I found Lead Belly, Woody Guthrie and Howlin' Wolf. Ezra had heard a Lead Belly compilation and had simply tried to sing like him. On the back of the record, it said his voice was so big, you had to turn your record player down. Ezra says, I liked the idea of singing with a big voice, so I tried it, and I could. 2013-16, Wanted on Voyage and touring. In June 2013, Ezra played the BBC introducing stage at Glastonbury Festival. He released his debut EP Did You Hear the Rain? In October 2013. In late 2013, he received airplay on BBC Radio 1, with songs Did You Hear the Rain? And Budapest regularly featured. He was included in MTV's Brand New for 2014, Vevo's DSCVR Ones to Watch 2014 and iTunes New Artists 2014. Ezra was longlisted for the BBC Sound of 2014, where he eventually finished in 5th place. The song, Budapest, reached #6 in Italy and was certified platinum by the Federation of the Italian Music Industry. He has played support spots for Lianne La Havas, Pastille, Sam Smith, and Tom Odell. In March 2014 he released his 2nd EP Casio Budapest, was released in the UK on the 13th of June, followed by Ezra's debut album Wanted on Voyage on the 30th of June. On the 6th of July, the album entered the UK Albums Chart at #3. The album has also charted in Australia, Austria, Belgium, Denmark, Germany, Ireland, Netherlands, and New Zealand. On the 5th of October, 14 weeks after its initial release, Wanted on Voyage climbed to #1 in the UK. In December 2014 the album had sold 678,156 copies in the UK, and in January 2015 it was named the 3rd best-selling album of 2014 in the UK after Multiply by Ed Sheeran and In a Lonely Hour by Sam Smith. On the 4th of January 2015, the album reclaimed the #1 spot in the UK. On the 10th of August 2014, Ezra was a support act for Robert Plant at the Glastonbury Abbey Extravaganza. In October 2014, Ezra released a video for Listen to the Man, which featured Ian McKellen. At the 2015 Brit Awards, Ezra was nominated for 4 Brit Awards: Best British Album, Best British Male Solo Artist, Best British Single, and British Breakthrough Artist. In early 2015, Ezra opened for Sam Smith for 16 dates on Smith's In the Lonely Hour tour across North America. Later, he toured with Irish musician Hosier for select dates on his sold-out 2015 North American tour. Before Ezra's rise to fame, he created a word, Petten, to help him to bond with his fans, encouraging them to use it during everyday life. It is commonly used on Twitter and on tour. He has started selling merchandise with the word printed on it. In an interview in Boston in March 2015, He admitted that this Petten word creation is a blank nonsense, it's a word I made up, me and my friends. It could be good or bad or anything. It was just a word that. We were 18, we were idiots, but it's kind of lived on. On the 28th of March 2015, Ezra was the musical guest on Saturday Night Live. He appeared on US television again a few weeks later, performing Budapest on The Late Late Show with James Corden on the 13th of April. On the 24th of May, Ezra appeared at Radio 1's Big Weekend at Norwich, Norfolk, with a set that included his hit songs including Blame It On Me, Budapest, and Casio. On the 31st of July 2015, Ezra performed at the Osheaga Festival in Montreal. On the 11th of November 2015, he performed Blame It On Me on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. 2017-18 Staying at Tamara's. On the 3rd of April 2017, Ezra announced a top secret UK and Ireland tour, in which he would premiere some new material. Don't Matter Now, the lead single from his upcoming second album Staying at Tamara's, was released on the 16th of June. Paradise was released as the second single on the 19th of January 2018, with an accompanying music video released the following week on the 24th of January. On the 12th of February 2018, Ezra released the first episode of his podcast George Ezra and Friends, a 45-minute show where he talks to other artists. The first and the second guest were Ed Sheeran and Rag & Bone Man respectively. Staying at Tamara's was released on the 23rd of March 2018. Brought to you by Wikividi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?